The Great Adventure of the Sleepy Prince. Once upon a time, in a certain kingdom, there was a prince called the Sleepy Prince. His name was Luke. Prince Luke was famous for falling asleep at any time. Even in the middle of the day when the sun was shining, the prince would yawn and close his eyes. One day, Barry, a white horse that was kept with great care in the castle, suddenly disappeared. The whole castle was in an uproar, but no one could find Barry. So Prince Luke stood up and said, "I'll go look for Barry." Everyone was worried, but the prince was determined. Before setting out on his journey, the prince yawned loudly. "What if I get sleepy?" he thought, but Prince Luke set off to look for Barry. While walking through the forest, Prince Luke met a cute squirrel named Tippy. "Tippy, have you seen Barry?" the prince asked. Tippy replied, "Barry was eating grass by the river over there. But she might not be there anymore." The prince thanked Tippy and headed for the river. However, on the way, the prince got sleepy again. His legs became heavy and his eyes were about to close when a little bird named Chun landed on the prince's shoulder and whispered, "Prince Luke, don't fall asleep. We have to find Barry." Chun's voice woke the prince up and he went further in. When he reached the river, there was a big rock and Barry was hiding in its shade. Barry was munching on grass and seemed to feel safe. When the prince shouted Barry, Barry looked up in surprise. Prince Luke rushed over to Barry and stroked his mane. "Barry, don't run away again." Barry snorted happily when he saw the prince's face. Prince Luke rode on Barry's back and walked back to the castle. However, the prince was overcome by sleepiness again and was about to fall asleep. At that moment, Barry ran faster as if to encourage the prince. The wind brushed the prince's face and he felt like he was waking up. Prince Luke was grateful for Barry's strength and clung tightly to her back. As they approached the castle, the gates were open and the king, queen, and people of the castle were waiting anxiously. When the prince shouted, "I found Barry," everyone cheered. The king hugged the prince and said, "Luke, you are a fine prince. Thank you for bringing Barry back safely." The prince smiled shyly and replied, "Barry helped me." That night, the prince slept soundly beside Barry. In his dream, the prince was on an adventure with Barry again. The people of the castle praised the prince for his brave actions and grew to love him even more. Thus, the sleeping prince's great adventure came to an end, and Prince Luke lived a leisurely and happy life in the castle. Every night, he would fall into a comfortable sleep, remembering Barry's warm back. The next day, Prince Luke woke up in high spirits. Then, while playing in the castle garden, Tippy the squirrel appeared again. "Prince Luke, let's go on a new adventure today too." Tippy invited the prince, and he nodded with a smile. This time, the adventure was to search for a mysterious lake deep in the forest. It was said that the lake had magical water that would induce sleep. Prince Luke thought that he would take some of the water from the lake home with him and use it when he couldn't sleep at night. As he walked through the forest, various animals appeared and showed the prince the way. Ollie the owl, Bunny the rabbit, and Fern the deer. Thanks to everyone's kind guidance, the prince was able to reach the lake safely. Sitting by the lake, the prince was moved by the beautiful scenery. The water of the lake sparkled and was very mysterious. The prince decided to fill a small bottle with the water of the lake and take it home with him. When he returned to the castle, the prince showed the king and queen the magic water. "Now you can rest assured even when you can't sleep at night," the prince said, and the king and queen nodded with smiles. That night, the prince slept soundly next to the berries. Thanks to the magic water, the prince fell into a deeper sleep than usual and had a wonderful dream. Thus, Prince Luke's adventures continued. Even though he fought against sleepiness, he made new discoveries and grew every day. The people of the castle also became more and more grateful for the prince's courage and kindness. Good night, Prince Luke. Have sweet dreams tomorrow and new adventures await you. My dad has turned into a cat. One morning, Takashi woke up to find the house enveloped in a silence that was different from usual. He couldn't find his dad in the living room where he usually was. Instead, a big black cat was sitting there. Takashi was surprised and stared at the cat. Then, the cat winked at him just like his dad. "Dad, maybe you've turned into a cat?" Takashi asked, half believing it. The cat meowed and rubbed against Takashi's feet. Takashi picked up the cat and hurried to his mother. "Mom, this cat is my dad." His mother laughed and said, "Takashi, that can't be. Dad has gone to work. He'll be back tomorrow." Though Takashi was feeling down, he decided to spend time with the cat. His father, who had turned into a cat, played with Takashi. He played chase and with a cat toy, just like his father. That night, Takashi told his mother again, "Mom, this cat is really Dad." Today, he played the game we always play. His mother thought for a moment. If Dad really became a cat, why? Takashi answered, "Maybe he was under some kind of magic." At that moment, the cat jumped onto his mother's lap and tried to read the newspaper like his father. His mother was surprised and her eyes widened. Could it be that he's really Dad? The next day, Takashi prepared rice balls with meatballs, which his father loves. "Dad, you like this, right?" The cat replied happily, "Meow." After a while, his mother also began to believe in this strange situation. The family laughed and gradually got used to their new life. One day, Takashi and his father, who had become a cat, went for a walk together. The cat father took Takashi and guided him to places that normal humans would never find. Slipping through narrow gaps and climbing up tall trees, Takashi was excited about his new adventure. "This place is amazing, Dad," Takashi said excitedly. The cat father replied with a satisfied meow. The two found a secret path and explored a small forest. There was a small spring and beautiful flowers blooming everywhere. "Let's make this our own secret place, Dad," Takashi said with a smile. That night, Takashi told his mother about his adventure. "Mom, I found a great place with Dad today," Mom said with a smile. "That's great, Takashi. But be careful." The two found a secret path and explored a small forest. There was a small spring and beautiful flowers blooming everywhere. "Let's make this our own secret place, Dad," Takashi said with a smile. That night, Takashi told his mother about his adventure. "Mom, I found a great place with Dad today," Mom said with a smile. "That's great, Takashi. But be careful." The next morning, Takashi decided to go on another adventure with his father. This time, they decided to go to a nearby park. His father, now a cat, took him into the bushes deep in the park to show him a special place. When he got out of the bushes, he found a small hideout. It was a secret base made of tree branches. "Wow, this is the best place." Takashi's eyes lit up. "Dad, how do you know about this place?" His father, now a cat, meowed as if to say, "It's a secret." In the secret base, Takashi and his father spent time together collecting nuts and making toys out of leaves. Takashi had a lot of fun and it became a precious memory. That night, Takashi was tired and went to bed. "Thank you for today, Dad. Let's go on another adventure together tomorrow." His father, now a cat, sat next to Takashi and meowed gently. However, whenever it was time for his father to return home from work, the cat was gone and his father came home instead. Takashi wondered if the cat was really his father. "Dad, did you really turn into a cat?" Takashi asked. His father laughed and winked meaningfully. "I don't know, Takashi. It's a secret." Thus, Takashi, his father, and his mother became closer and enjoyed each other's company. The days when his father turned into a cat remained in their hearts as precious memories. Lunchbox with Mom and Mai. One morning, Mai woke up and listened to her mom singing in the kitchen. She jumped out of bed, excited to see what kind of lunchbox she would have today. When she went to the kitchen, her mom said with a smile, "Good morning, Mai." Mom's singing echoed through the kitchen, and Mai washed her hands while dancing to the music. "I'll help you today," Mai said. "Thank you, Mai." Today I'm going to make rice balls, tamagoyki, and broccoli salad, her mom replied. Mai made rice balls with her little hands and said happily, I'm going to make this rice ball into a heart shape. Mom was impressed by Mai's creativity and said with a smile, that's great. Then I'll make tamagoyki. Mai worked hard to make the rice balls into a heart shape and then cried, I'm done. Mom saw the rice balls and praised, they're so cute, Mai. Mai, can you help me make the broccoli salad? Mom asked. Yes, I can. Mai answered enthusiastically and cut the broccoli into small pieces. While Mom was doing that, she cooked the omelet, and it was fluffy and delicious. One Sunday, Mai and Mom decided to plan a menu together. They sat at the table in the living room and spread out their notebooks. What shall we make tomorrow? Mom asked. Mai thought for a moment and answered, I want to eat Mom's fried chicken. Mom smiled and asked, so, what should we put in with the fried chicken? Cherry tomatoes and pickled cucumbers. Mai suggested. Mom wrote the idea down in her notebook and said, Great, Mai. That's it. The next morning, Mai got up early again and went to the kitchen. Mom said good morning, Mai, while frying the fried chicken. Good morning, Mom. I'll help you make fried chicken today, said Mai. Thank you, Mai. Can you help me put batter on the fried chicken? Asked Mom. Mai put batter on the chicken with her small hands and said happily, I hope it's crispy. Mom saw her and replied, it will be delicious. And on a special day, Mom said, today is the day we eat lunch together. The two went to the park and spread out their lunch. The breeze blew pleasantly in the shade of the trees, and Mai and Mom had a great time. Mom's lunch is really the best, said Mai. Thank you, Mai. But it's even more fun if we make it together, replied Mom. After lunch, the two played in the park. Mai went on the swings and played in the sandbox with her mother. Seeing Mai's happy face, her mother smiled happily. That night, Mai went to bed and closed her eyes, remembering the fun events of the day. With her mother's singing still ringing in her ears, Mai fell asleep feeling happy. Making lunch every day and spending fun times with Mai and her mother continued forever. Lunch became a daily joy and an important time that deepened the bond between them. The end. The Moon and the Stars. The moon and the stars were shining in the quiet night sky. The moon was emitting a soft light, and the stars were shining brightly. The two of them always talked together in the sky. Star, what dreams are the children in this town having tonight? The moon asked in a gentle voice. That's interesting, Moon. Shall I sneak a peek through the window? The star answered with a wink. The first place they saw was the living room of a house. A family was having fun playing a board game. The father, mother, and 2 children were playing and laughing. This family is really close. What kind of dreams do they have? The moon smiled. I bet they're dreaming of a fun adventure. Maybe they're all going to look for treasure. The star let her imagination run wild. The next place they saw was the living room of another house. There, a family was watching TV. Everyone sat side by side on the sofa, eating popcorn and engrossed in the movie. This family looks like they're having fun, too. Are they immersed in the world of the movie? Asked the moon. Yes, I'm sure they're dreaming of wonderful adventures and mysterious worlds. The star nodded. In yet another house, a mother was reading a picture book to her child in his bedroom. The child gradually fell asleep, listening to his mother's voice. This child is sleeping peacefully, surrounded by his mother's voice, said the moon gently. I wonder what he's dreaming about. He's probably dreaming about traveling with his mother through the world of the story. The star answered happily. After that, the moon and the star looked around the houses in the town. In one house, they saw a family making sweets together. In another house, the father was playing the guitar and the children were singing and dancing. Everyone spends their time in a different way, but all the families look happy, said the moon with a deep feeling. That's true, moon. Each family has their own way of having fun. The stars agreed. As the night deepened, the children gradually traveled off to the world of dreams. The moon and the stars continued to shine in the night sky, watching over the children with kindness. Whatever dreams you have, I hope you all have happy dreams. The moon said quietly. Yes. Let's continue to shine and watch over the children. The stars replied. More time passed, and the moon and the stars decided to look around more houses. In one house, the children were making their own little tents and pretending to camp. They were using flashlights to make shadow puppets and telling stories. These children seem to love adventure. I'm sure they are dreaming of meeting animals in the forest. The moon said, yeah, maybe they're dreaming of going to look for a secret cave. The stars replied with a smile. In another house, a grandmother was telling her grandchildren old stories. The grandchildren listened to their grandmother's stories with sparkling eyes. Grandma's stories are so wonderful. I'm sure the grandchildren are dreaming of being in the old world that Grandma talks about, the moon said with admiration. Yes, there seems to be a special magic in Grandma's voice, the stars agreed. In another house, 2 brothers were drawing pictures together. They used colorful crayons to draw whatever they wanted. These brothers must be having very imaginative dreams, the moon said. Maybe they're dreaming of going on adventures in the world that they've drawn, the stars smiled. As the night went on, the children in the town fell asleep one by one. The moon and the stars continued to shine gently as they watched over them. Whatever dreams they have, I hope they all have fun and happy dreams, the moon said quietly. That's right. Let's keep shining forever and watch over the children, answered the stars. And so, the moon and the stars continued to watch over the children's dreams together in the night sky. Their gentle light brought peace of mind and happiness to all the children in town. As the night deepened, the town became quieter and quieter, and the moon and stars enveloped the children in their beautiful light. In the children's dreams, they continued to spend happy times with their families and were filled with smiles. The moon and the stars vowed to continue shining gently forever as they watched over these children. Grandma's manju. One fine afternoon, a delicious smell filled the air around Grandma's house. Grandma was making manju for her granddaughters Samire and Nagomi. What kind of manju should we make today? Grandma asked with a big smile. Samire and Nagomi's eyes lit up and they answered in unison, "We want manju with different fillings." First, Grandma made traditional manju using red bean paste. Samire and Nagomi watched her closely, eager to help. "Grandma, we want to make manju too," Samire said, and Grandma happily replied, "Of course, please help us." At that moment, the doorbell rang. Grandma's friend Tay, who lives next door, had brought a variety of fillings. Tay brought sweet chestnuts, fresh strawberries, and even cream cheese. "Let's use these to make even more fun buns," Tay said with a smile. Samire and Nagomi began kneading the bun dough with their small hands. Granny and Tay handed each child a variety of fillings. The children were enthusiastic as they wrapped up their fillings. "Wow, I made a fun-shaped bun," Nagomi said, showing them, and Granny laughed and said, "It looks just like a rabbit." But sometimes things went wrong. When Samire tried to wrap the bean paste in the dough, her hand slipped and the bean paste fell to the floor. "Oh no!" Samire said with a troubled look on her face, but Granny gently said, "It's okay. These things happen," and handed them new bean paste. Also, when Nagomi was wrapping strawberry jam, the dough tore and the jam spilled out. Nagomi was dejected, but Tay encouraged her by saying, "You'll get used to it little by little." In the evening, Grandma, Tay, Samire, and Nagomi had made lots of buns together. Colorful, delicious-looking buns were lined up on the table. "Is this all?" Tay asked, and Samire cheerfully replied, "I can make more." Then Grandma came up with a new idea. "Okay, let's all have a contest. The person who makes the funniest shaped bun wins." Everyone was in favor of the idea. Samire made a teddy bear-shaped bun, and Nagomi made a star-shaped one. Grandma made a flower-shaped one, and Tay made a heart-shaped one. When the buns were done, everyone compared the finished product. "This is difficult, but everyone is doing a great job," said Tay. At that moment, a pleasant breeze blew in from the backyard of Grandma's house. Grandma opened the window and suggested everyone go outside. "Let's have a picnic in the garden and eat the buns." Sumire and Nagomi were delighted, and Grandma and Tay prepared tablecloths and cushions. Colorful flowers were blooming in the garden, and birds were chirping. "Let's eat!" Sumire called out cheerfully, and everyone picked up the buns. With a bite, the sweetness spread throughout their mouths, making them feel happy. "The insides of the chestnuts that Tay brought are really delicious," said Nagomi, and Tay praised her, saying, "Thank you, Nagomi. The shapes you made are also very nice." Grandma gently stroked Sumire and Nagomi's heads and smiled, saying, "It tastes even better because we all made it together." That night, Sumire and Nagomi ate their fill of buns and went to sleep feeling happy. Grandma's kindness and the fun time they spent making buns remained warm in their hearts. Grandma and Tay's warm hospitality also became a special memory for the two of them. Making buns at Grandma's house will surely be a cherished moment that Sumire and Nagomi will always remember. Candy weather. Once upon a time, there was a very strange country. In that country, what fell from the sky was not ordinary rain or snow, but sweets. Every day, people looked forward to what kind of sweets would fall. One day, early in the morning, everyone gathered in a small town square to listen to the weather forecast. The weatherman said in a loud voice, "It will rain apple pies today." Everyone was delighted. Children especially loved apple pies. Around noon, big clouds began to gather in the sky, and the fragrant smell of apple pies spread. Soon, hot apple pies began to drop from the sky. The children spread their arms with smiles on their faces and stuffed their mouths with sweet apple pies. Mothers also didn't have to worry about snacks today, as their homes would be filled with delicious apple pies. The next morning, the weatherman made another forecast. "It will rain marshmallows today." The children were looking forward to the fluffy marshmallows falling. At noon, white clouds spread across the sky, and soon big marshmallows started to fall. Everyone caught the marshmallows and enjoyed letting them melt in their mouths. The fathers roasted the marshmallows over a bonfire, making them even more delicious. One night, a special event was held in the town square. A big full moon was shining in the night sky, and a mysterious light was pouring down from the moon. The weatherman said, "Tonight is a special night. You will see a meteor shower of rice crackers." Everyone was very excited. Looking up at the night sky, they waited for the rice cracker shooting stars. Suddenly, countless rice crackers rained down on the sky, sparkling with light. The children were enthusiastic about picking up the rice crackers, and the adults also picked up the rice crackers with joy. When they ate the rice crackers with a crunchy sound, smiles spread across everyone's faces. The old people enjoyed munching on rice crackers while telling old stories. But one day, the weatherman said with a serious look on his face, "It's thundering today. But don't worry. Instead of thunder, chocolate will fall." Everyone was surprised, but looked up at the sky with great interest. After a while, the sky darkened and thunder echoed. But along with the sound, big chunks of chocolate fell from the sky. The children picked up the chocolate with great joy, and the adults also happily put the chocolate to their mouths. When the chocolate rain stopped, the whole town was filled with a sweet aroma. As the seasons changed and winter approached, the weatherman said, "This winter is special. Instead of snow, cookies will fall." Everyone put on warm clothes and waited for the cookies to fall from the sky. Soon, the sky turned white, and crispy cookies fell softly. The children played with cookies, making cookie darumas, not snowmen, and cookie houses. The adults also brewed tea and spent a warm time with the cookies. A cookie contest was held in the town square, and beautiful cookie towers and animal-shaped cookies were displayed. The country also had a large swimming pool. This pool was special, filled not with water but with cider, orange juice, and sometimes melted chocolate. The children enjoyed being surrounded by bubbles in the cider pool and swimming in the orange juice pool. In the melted chocolate pool, they could play while covered in chocolate from head to toe. It was always fun to see everyone covered in chocolate and laughing. Every day in that country was like a dream. The candy weather brought people a lot of joy and smiles. Everyone looked up at the sky every day, looking forward to what was going to fall today. And the people of that country went to sleep peacefully, feeling the happiness of being able to enjoy every day with the candy weather. The rain of sweets brought everyone closer together, and the whole town became warmer. Before going to bed, the children slept soundly, surrounded by the scent of sweets, dreaming about what kind of sweets would fall the next day. And they lived happily ever after. Let's end today's story here. Have a good rest and have sweet dreams. Good night.